I don't need to familiarize anyone with the Nintendo-Sega feud, do I? It was an era of who was the best between two of gaming's best companies. It was Mario versus Sonic. While in the war I had committed myself to Nintendo and Mario at the time, I've long since left the console wars to side with PCs. Still, something kept bugging me about that time. A single question that kept repeating in my head. What exactly is Sonic the Hedgehog? Hopefully I can find that answer now and perhaps gain an understanding as to why Sonic was once the great icon of the 90s and is now the longest running gag in gaming. In April 1990, Sega needed a fresh mascot and asked for people to send in ideas. While the ideas were vast, the one that seemed most intriguing was a hedgehog. After some draft work and a game prototype that focused on the speed of gameplay, Sonic the Hedgehog went into development. On June 23, 1991, Sonic the Hedgehog was released for Sega Genesis. It sported bright colors at unprecedented speed. In comparison to Super Mario World at the time, Sonic just felt more active than other games with its inclusion of bumpers, ramps, loop-de-loops, at a pace that most gamers didn't really feel in a 2D side-scroller. Gameplay with Sonic is easy. Go as fast as possible to reach the goal to the other side, and on occasion, jump into robots and blow them up. You didn't even need to jump on top of enemies. You could just jump up and take them out if they were above you. The game could stop here. The game makers had an additional element to Sonic in the form of secret levels. The secret levels at first glance is a realm of confusion and frustration, but with the right thinking and careful jumps to avoid going for the goal, you can instead get a Chaos Emerald. By getting all of them, you got a happy ending with Robotnik stomping in frustration at being beaten, and by only getting some of them, or none at all, you saw Robotnik juggling the emeralds and the words "try again" at the bottom. Now call me a traditionalist on gaming, but I hate these kinds of endings. Unless your game is built upon the premise that certain things that you do will affect the game as a whole, like Undertale or something, don't do this. It only serves as a middle finger to those playing your game for not completing something that the game never clues you in on. I know the manual touches upon this when you look at information about the secret level, but it's still frustrating that the only thing that the marketing and information gave about this game is that you're meant to be fast, and you're meant to blaze through each level as fast as possible. The story is where I can give Sonic a nod of respect, as it secretly gave a message to those who played it. Inside each robot is a small creature, and what starts off as a lush and green forest turns into a mechanical madhouse. The ending reveals further that by collecting the emeralds, a lot of plant life is created, and Sonic is surrounded by those little creatures he's rescued. Sonic the Hedgehog was about environmentalism, and you never knew it. Credit where credit is due. That is a clever way to educate gamers without them realizing it until they were older. With a game that boasted so much and delivered upon it in spades, Sega blew up in popularity. Genesis outsold the Super Nintendo 2-1 from September to October 1991, and still held the title of leading 16-bit console in January of 1992. Nintendo was taken aback and pushed hard to win back its lead, but Sega had made its point. Sonic was their prizefighter, and Mario was going down. Other businesses quickly tried to mimic Sega's success in making their own animals with attitude, but a lot missed the point of what made Sonic great.
What could possibly go wrong?
Before Sonic 2 came, Sega made a downloadable game for the Master System called Sonic Eraser. Not much to speak on since this was a puzzle game, but the weird thing is no one really knew this game existed until 2004, when a fan purchased a bunch of games for the online service and shared the ROM with the world. Back in the console world, Sega was ready with its second strike in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And it's amazing. Let me get the checklist as to what makes a great sequel. Carries on previous story. Check. Adds additional gameplay element? Check. Improves music, graphics, or aesthetics? Check. Still feels like the original game? Check. Everything about Sonic 2 is made better through its sequel. The addition of Tails in two-player game mode changed the game to something else, but you didn't feel like you lost anything you didn't have before. Even the secret levels have an entirely different set of rules to the last game, but it kept the theme of running fast. Being released on November 21st, 1992, Sonic 2 was the second most sold game for the console at the time. right behind the original Sonic. While in the business sense I would boast this as a major success, as a gamer I felt disappointed with that news. It improves what the original Sonic lacked, and it couldn't overtake its original. But hey, 6 million copies is still 6 million. Sonic also goes faster in this game. While in the original Sonic you had to stop and wait for certain things, Sonic 2 just felt like go and run everywhere. Even better was when you got to play in the competitive 2-player mode. Introducing Miles' Tails' Prower was both a clever marketing tactic and a gameplay-changing move. Why I say it's a marketing tactic is because children could relate to Tails in the way that he follows Sonic, and in the manual he's described as something of a fan. The Japanese manual also describes him as a shy character that wants to prove that he's more than an odd-looking fox with 2 tails. Even the ending that you get when you don't have the Chaos Emeralds makes you feel good. There's no mocking or laughing at you. You won! And you should feel proud about it. If you do get the Emeralds, then the ending is still just as sweet. Now comes a tricky issue that I don't exactly know how to handle. During May of 1993, Archie Comics started making Sonic the Hedgehog comics. I don't have a number on hand, but let me be clear on this. There are too many comics for me to break down, and they are still being made today. So if you wanted a detailed, in-depth comic storyline breakdown, I'm going to have to raise the white flag and admit that I can't do it. Saying that, I'd refer to the breakdown of the initial issues to the Jack Dex, who has his own reviews and opinions. Considering he's now running through his own summer of marathons that is also being focused on some of Sonic's games, get some more in-depth detail about some of the comic story arcs or his own reviews on some of the Sonic games. He seems like a nice guy, so give him a watch after we cover one more unique addition to the series view line. June 1993 saw the release of the Japan-only arcade game, Sega Sonic the Hedgehog. This game is an odd one to try and describe, but if you know what a running game is, then you won't be far off on what the gameplay is about. Sega Sonic introduced 2 entirely new characters in the Sonic world that have long since been left in obscurity, Ray the Flying Squirrel and Mighty the Armadillo. One of these two will make a reappearance later on, but for now, just trust me when I say both don't have a long shelf life in the gaming world of Sonic the Hedgehog. Rolling the ball is what forces your character to move, and you have to be very careful not to suddenly shift the direction of your spin so you don't fall off a cliff or lose your momentum since each level is timed. The game doesn't focus on collecting Chaos Emeralds and rescuing animals trapped in robots, it instead follows the story of Sonic, Ray, and Mighty getting caught and brought to Eggman's tower. In that tower, all 3 have to run, jump, and dodge to make it to the final level. The game isn't easy between the ball, the obstacles, and the need to keep the group together. Players can get hung up on progress if someone just happens to slip and find themselves at the far back. Due to this difficulty, I can see that without emulating the game or somehow finding the arcade game yourself and programming it to free play mode, that many will keep their wallets away since it is so easy to die. What is kinda unique is the hidden sprites of the Americanized version of Eggman can be found in the code. A hint of what will come and what some have described as one of the gems of 90s cartoons. feel-good note like that should be as nice a place as any to stop and bring up the patented series review line, where we measure what is the best in the series in comparison to the worst. Sonic 2 dominated over its predecessor pretty hard. This is the definitive classic Sonic game that hits on all cylinders and makes you feel pretty damn good all the way around. I still give the respectful nod to Sonic in being a lot deeper than I initially anticipated, but still dislike its cheap tactic and how you can either get a good or bad ending. We've got a wild 1993 to deal with in regards to Sonic next time. Arcade games, cartoons, Sega CD. It's pretty expansive what is going to happen. Let's just see if we won't notice any cracks in the armor of the blue blur. Until then, maybe you'd like to hear about other game histories like Double Dragon or Doom. Maybe subscribe to the channel while I get the next episode up. If not, hey, that's cool too.